Breaking news this morning, the European Tour has officially released their plans for the resumption of the 2020 season, with the launch of a new 6-week UK swing, as well as new dates for 4 Rolex Series events. The 2020 season will resume July 22nd at the British Masters, hosted by Lee Westwood. This event will be followed by the English Open at the Marriott Forest of Arden and the English Championship at Marriott Hanbury Manor. The Celtic Manor Resort in Newport will then host back-to-back events, the Celtic Classic and the Wales Open. The UK Swing will conclude with the UK Championship at the Belfry, August 27th. This 6-week stretch will have a charitable component, giving £500,000 to local charities. New dates have also been announced for 4 Rolex Series events. The Aberdeen Standard Investment Scottish Open will now take place from October 8th through the 11th, and the BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth Club will move to the following week. The Nedbank Golf Challenge, hosted by Gary Player, will now be played the first week of December, while the Race to Dubai champion will be crowned at the season-ending DP World Tour Championship, December 10th through the 13th. So with that, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome in the Chief Executive of the European Tour, Keith Pelley. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a really exciting schedule that has been put together. Just talk us through the process that you went through to get to this point.
Well, Anna, it's been a very challenging and a daunting time for not only the European Tour, but every sports organization. And we've had to think differently. And one of the ways that we had to think differently is that our schedule normally is played in 31 different countries. We play globally all over the world. And we took all our guidance from our chief medical officer, Dr. Andy Murray, who quickly became the most important person almost on my executive leadership team. I call him the MVP of the European Tour. And what he did was say, listen, Keith, the whole thing this year about playing is mitigating risk. You have to mitigate the health risks everywhere you go. And the best way to do that is to play in either one location multiple weeks or in one country for a long period of time. So these 6 events that we're starting with on the UK Swing are all drivable within 3 hours. And that is the way that the strategy came about. We're going to some iconic locations like Celtic Manor, which hosted the 2010 Ryder Cup, and of course the Belfry and the UK Championship, which is also a Ryder Cup venue. So it's going to be an exciting 6 weeks. Everything is predicated on government regulations and restrictions, but our medical health strategy has become the reason why we've taken this approach and took a completely different turn to our schedule this year.
Well, you've touched on some of the challenges that you had to face, Keith, obviously trying to cater for a huge, diverse range of international players, all in different circumstances right now. Did you manage to get much player input when you were choreographing this schedule?
Well, I've talked to a lot of players. I talk to players every day. So there is no question that at the end of the day, the players, whether it be a top player or whether it be a player that is lower in the rankings, they just want to get back and play. So they were just as incredibly positive as they possibly could be and said, you know, Keith, if we can play and play in a safe environment, and that's critical, then we'll basically play anywhere. And I think this 6 UK Swing allows us to do that. But we're going to announce another 14 events. So there'll be 24 events that we're playing from the end of July. And those will follow the same strategy. So for example, if we're playing in Portugal, we might play there twice and then play in Spain so that you can drive between the two. So COVID-19 has changed our entire strategy with the schedule. But to be honest with you, it will also give you a little glimpse of the future, because playing multiple events in countries is just good, solid business. And we've already started to have the conversation with a couple of these venues in the UK Swing that said, what can we do in 2021? So we'll probably start the spring season in 2021 with 3 events in the UK.
Okay, some incredibly exciting times ahead. And you touched on there about these venues all being 3 hours apart. But what exactly is the strategy when it comes to testing for the coronavirus?
Well, I think the amount of time that we spend talking about testing and talking about what that medical health strategy is incredible. We are fortunate to have Dr. Andy Murray, who is our chief medical officer, and his background is in public health, and he's worked for the Scottish government. So he has led us every step of the way. So yes, we will test every player and caddy and staff that before they arrive in the country and before they arrive at the tournament. Then once the tournament happens, there will be more PCR testing. We will have obviously a big educational program on social distancing. We will do symptoms check. We will have thermal imaging to test temperatures. So it is a robust strategy that is now a document that is almost 120 pages. We've already submitted it to a number of governments here in Europe, and we are going to take the players through it in the next 3 weeks so that they at least have a month to acclimatize with it before they actually start the process.
Just finally, following the UK swing, we're going to have the pleasure of watching some of the most prestigious European Tour Rolex Series events, all culminating at the DP World Tour Championship now in December. These events are obviously integral to the Race to Dubai season. Why was it so important to reschedule these this year?
Well, I was privileged to be part of a group that included the PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan and the LPGA Commissioner Mike Wan and the leaders of the four majors as we worked on the schedule for the three majors coming back. And the minute that the Masters went into November, we knew that we had to change our end of the season. And the Nedbank Golf Challenge and the DP World Tour Championship were two incredible events for us. They are our penultimate event, and of course, our final event of the year, where last year John Ram won a magnificent event, winning $5 million, winning the bonus pool, the DP World Tour Championship, with an unbelievable up and down on the last hole. So we went to our respective partners. They understood the Masters moving into November. We supported that. And as a result, we were able to move those two events. And as far as the Aberdeen Standard Investment Scottish Open and the BMW PGA Championship, we figure that in October, that's a perfect time to put those two iconic events where we believe that there might be an opportunity to just play not just behind closed doors, but to have some type of hospitality, VIP, and maybe even a great opportunity to have some NHS workers and their families attend.
Well, Keith, it's wonderful to hear from you. It's really impressive to see the way that the European Tour has navigated their way through the challenges of this COVID-19 era. So we really appreciate your time and best of luck with everything. Thank you, Keith.
Anna, all the best.